Thanks, Melanie. I really, really hope that you are really, really fast, and speedy recovery. You fantastic person.
Hello, Katie. Get well soon.
Hey, Katie. Sending all my love from Canada.
Katie, from all of us at Erie, Florida, we wish you the best recovery.
And Katie, this is Christian Basil, and we wish you, from everyone here at the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, a safe and speedy recovery. Love always, always love.
My name is Christian Basil. Years ago, I had an idea. I got myself a TARDIS. Took it to new places, met a lot of new people, took some great pictures, and talked Doctor Who. From Krypton Radio and the creators of the Hanging With web show, this is the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Join me on my latest adventures and become part of the legend.
Hello, fellow Whovians. Welcome to the Hold on a second. Hold on. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. Have a fellow Whovians. Thank you for joining us again on this special edition of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Coming back to our show is third Doctor actor from Big Finish, Tim Treloar. How you doing there, Tim?
I'm not so bad, thank you, Christian. Yourself?
Not so bad. I'm doing great there. Now, there's a reason why Tim came back. I know we already had the interview with Tim, and Katie was kind enough to be here, and unfortunately, she could not be. And we're going to get a little discussion with that, and especially what you just saw in the introduction for those of you who were watching, and for people who were just like, oh, what was that all about? If you haven't been keeping up with, we're going to let you know what's going on over here. But let me introduce the other panelists. I have Brian Perez, Dr. Freedom himself from the YouTube channel, Doctor Who News. Dr. Freedom, how you doing there, Brian?
Hanging in there. How's everybody doing tonight?
Not bad there, sir. And we got the lovely artiste, Melanie Dean. How you doing there, Melanie?
Doing well. I have no idea what day it is, what month it is. If it was 3 months ago, 2 months. We live in this weird timeline right now. We're in the darkest timeline.
Not only that, you and I were part of indie events this past weekend. How was it for you? How did you enjoy? We did 3 panels, each one in each day, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then you had a special panel where you did your live artistry. What did you do? I was trying to catch up with it and I couldn't. Something had come up.
I decided just to throw things out the window because every moment is precious now. I've actually had a cake I needed to work on. So I was doing fondant figures. So while I was doing fondant figures, so I'm sculpting, I was also kind of explaining how you could translate that into like clay or Fimo or anything else. That was kind of like what I just tossed in and just did hey, we're going to do sculpting today.
Now, normally
watch me.
I would do the chats a little bit later, but I need to start off with this chat. This is Meredith Lawler. And first of all, we want to thank Meredith. Speaking of indie events, we were at the convention. For those of you who are just joining us on the live feed, this just took place this past weekend, this past July the 11th through the 13th. So, and we had a panel each day. We had a game show on Saturday, which went completely wild. So we had a good time, but we just want to express something that Meredith Lawler, if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be even doing these live feeds. She's very supportive of the indie artists that we have here, artists such as Brian K. Morris and Rob Anderson, all these folks that are out there, Sarah, Cindy, everybody who is very supportive. Meredith, without you, we would not be here, and we'd love to give you all the love and support, because without this woman, please join us at Geek Insider. Definitely check out her Facebook page, check out her sign up and subscribe, because without Meredith, this would not be happening. We would not be here. And thank you, Meredith. Thank you so much for an incredible weekend. And I don't know if you got to be there, Meredith, but the last day at the last moment, they had like a drunken panel at the very end of the day. And I was talking to one of my friends, Sarah, and I go, how long were you on that panel? And they go like, oh, 6 hours. I'm like, what? It actually ran through the entire night. I was just like, exactly, yeah. I was like, what the heck? So Tim is back, but Tim, first of all, I want to know how Katie's doing. What happened to Katie? And for those of you who are just joining us, Katie Manning, she had I think she had surgery on her eye, right? That's what took place. She had a little bit of. You explain it better because you're closer to her.
Well, she had some sort of bug that she picked up. She sent me a long message on WhatsApp audio. And you know how fast she speaks. I didn't 3 times and still couldn't work out exactly what it was. But it's something got into her eye, and it basically sort of made her temporarily blind in one eye. And she had some work on it. I think she had some antibiotics as well. It's recovering now. It's slowly getting better, but yeah, I didn't realize that she was laid down. She was laid low quite a lot, actually. It sort of really knocked her out, and you know what she's like, her energy, and to have her quiet for even 5 minutes, something's going to be bad. But she is seeing. She sent a message. She said, she said, I could big love to them. To give them big love from me. And she sent this cartoon, which you probably got there. And she said, oh, yes, they love a bit of our Auntie Iris, who is known to be partial to a vat or two. And she said we should all do a shot of tequila here.
Yes, Katie, by some chance you're listening or watching this episode, once this is all over, we're going to fulfill your wish. We're going to give you the biggest and longest hug we could possibly muster once you get back here into the States there. Yeah. Well, Tim's trying to what Tim was mentioning there, and I follow Katie on her Twitter. And if you're going to follow somebody on Twitter, it's going to be Katie, because she is nothing out of the muck that is Twitter right now, which is just a dumpster fire. I mean, you probably seen it. Katie Manning is like the one source of just calm, relaxed. She's just playful, and she sincerely loves every fan that comes her way. She even responds back to if you get a chance and you talk to her. She might even respond to you if you say, hi, Katie. So that's just a testament to her Wonder Woman she is. But one of the pictures, she didn't even go on Twitter for quite some time. It got quiet, and I got worried. I was like, okay, my Twitter feed's not with her, but I'm like, maybe she's busy, she's doing something, she's getting ready to do something. And then all of a sudden her granddaughter comes on her Twitter feed and mentions that she had this issue with her eye. And when she got back on Twitter, I wish I had the picture and I don't, but she had this eye patch on and had a little butterfly on it. It was so cute. And I wrote back, or you be a pirate there running, will you? Now, Tim was kind enough to send me this picture. So if you're getting a little treat for those of you who are watching us on the live feed, this would be Katie Manning right now with a little butterfly eye patch. It is just so gorgeous. And that is typical Manning. That's Iris Wildtime in kind of like in just a little different sense, right?
Yeah.
Is that what her character is? Yeah, Iris Wildtime.
Iris Wildtime,
Iris Wildtime, but it is so cute. And Katie, we just want to wish you a speedy recovery and all our love and hope and prayers for us there. However, we have not only a special guest, Tim Treloar, but Tim Treloar has another special guest as well. And if you haven't had a chance, you've probably seen it in our feed, and we promoted it a couple times on the Traveling TARDIS. But Tim, tell us a little bit about your friend Peter.
Well, Peter is a very strange man, should we say that. He's a geography teacher, but he had a little crisis involving an ex-wife and a couple of neighbors, and he had a little bit of a breakdown, and he has since reinvented himself as a positivity guru. Oh. So now he has developed a series of webinars where he is infusing his positivity in the world, and he's very certain in what he's doing. Yeah. There's no doubts about what he's doing and his belief in what he's doing. He also combines it, obviously, with quite quite a sort of draconian view towards social distancing and coronavirus.
No, that's a very interesting term, draconian.
He's quite strict. He's sort of quite puritanical, really, in many ways.
Now, how did you come across him? How did you find him? And what brings Peter into the Tim Treloar world?
Well, I'm now a follower. There's quite a lot of us now. It's a growing band. It's not a cult in any way. But, he's not really sort of like a Jim Jones or David Koresh type yet.
I don't know.
He does have a forceful nature, because I was intrigued at first when I started watching this, but it's refreshing in a forceful way.
It's certainly different. He's got a really interesting view towards positivity and love. One of his slogans is "One love, 2 meters," and he believes that 2 meter rule stays even after there's a vaccine being found. So, he's very strident in his view. But I think, maybe maybe he is the answer. Maybe, politicians are not doing the job for us. And maybe someone like him, is the way ahead. I certainly think so. I'm starting to, become quite a devoted admirer, as quite a lot of people are now, it seems.
Oh, well, I just caught his videos too. I actually got the whole series of his, what they call guru modules or whatever they call them.
Webinars, I'd say.
Webinars. That's a good one. In fact, for those of you who may not be familiar with Peter, you might have seen his pictures, but there's Peter right there. Love is the drug. And that's I get every time I've seen him every so often, he actually addresses that love is the drug there. I'm kind of curious. I'll be asking him about that. And it looks good.
Yeah, I think someone basically, I believe that picture came from if you look at some of the end of the video, some of them are shot on the beach on the south coast of England where he lives. And a few of them, I think he had liberal sort of view to dress on certain days. And I think basically someone had said something about sizes and something. And I think that was his rule. Okay. That's my understanding. I mean, it was either that or the fish that he saw
right
while he was out there on the beach. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which he did.
Well, before we bring Peter on, let me just run through your chats. We're just going to say hello to Graham Krause. Hello to Joe Harrell. Again with of course Meredith Buttbeard. If you didn't go to the indie event, this is just not going to make sense what Buttbeard is, and I don't know if I should explain it on this show. There, Jomo Keel from Stupid O'Clock. Howdy y'all in a southern drawl. There you go. And Meredith, oh my gosh, hopefully she has full recovery on her eye. Hugs and blessings to Katie, of course. Yeah, we all wish her the very, very best there. Maria Antoinette, we miss our Katie on Twitter, sweetest person on the. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Yes, absolutely, absolutely wonderful woman there. She has a beautiful butterfly eye patch. I was just talking about that too. It was gorgeous there. Well, we got a commercial break. When we return, we're going to be bringing on Peter in just a few moments when we return. So please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and continue to become part of the legend.
Bateman.
What's the Bateman?
A novel set in Florida, written by Florida author D.L. Havlin. Suspense, mystery, and murder.
Evidence is in the bait.
The Bateman is available at local bookstores and online.
Deborah Parmley's Jenna's Christmas Wish.
Santa, if there's one thing I want for Christmas more than anything, it's someone to spend Christmas with. Someone who really wants me to be there.
Head to the mountains of East Tennessee with romance author Jenna Hart for a Christmas writer's workshop. Since her mother passed after a long illness, Jenna has had one wish. She doesn't want to spend Christmas alone. Meeting Niccolo Maldini, cover model and actor, could make more than Jenna's Christmas wish come true. Unless Ember, Niccolo's ex-girlfriend, does something crazy to stop them from being together. It's a mountain Christmas romance you won't want to miss in Deborah Parmley's Jenna's Christmas Wish. Now on Amazon.com. Jackie Sonnenberg's My Soul to Keep is a ghost story rooted in the realities of actual cults. When 13-year-old Sky Monroe arrives at her new boarding school, all she can think about is death and connecting with the afterlife. Soon she discovers her school's spirituality group, the Guardians of Light, and they have a secret. They can speak with the dead, and the organization is a cult. But this isn't Sky's only problem. The campus house where Sky resides is haunted, and even the ghosts have an agenda. They intend on getting the souls they want. Filled with mystery and intrigue plucked straight from the headlines, author Jackie Sonnenberg's research and attention to detail give this ghost story an even more eerie atmosphere. Find My Soul to Keep on Amazon.com today.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. If you're just joining us, we were just speaking to Tim Treloar, who plays the third Doctor in the Big Finish audios, but that's not why we're here today. We actually have his friend on, and if you haven't had a chance, you definitely want to check out his YouTube channel. It is Peter Get it wrong all the time there. Peter, and he's got a guide to yoga meditation as well as a YouTube channel. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna mess it up over here. I'm gonna introduce our friend Peter. Welcome, Peter. How are you doing there?
Namaste.
Wait. I got to do this appropriately.
How are you?
Namaste.
Excellent. That's good.
I love your glasses there, sir.
Well, it's very good, but I hope you're not mocking me, man.
I'm not mocking. This is.
I sincerely hope so, because it's no laughing matter. I've got astigmatism, and I don't think that's very.
Oh no! I'm doing.
Right. Well, you're not really sort of like holding hands over the ocean here. I mean, you look very handsome in there. I will say that.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I got it from I just happened to find these. These just happened to be lying around, and I saw your YouTube channel, and I believe you currently now have 10 episodes in your practice here. So it is Peter's Positivity Program.
Let's start that again. No.
Yes, that's fine. I want to make sure I get it right.
It's Peter's Positivity Program.
Peter's Positivity Program, and I'm even gonna do one better for you, Peter. Right now, as it stands. Now, watch it later. Don't watch it right now. I've already put in the YouTube link for people to check it out. There, yep, there you go.
There we go.
There you go for yourself. And well, first of all, how Tim told us how you guys met up, and how did you get started on this program? I mean, you were a teacher at one time, and then you decided to start your own seminar of Peter's Positivity Program. Tell us a little bit how you got involved.
Well, I'm still technically a geography teacher. I'm still drawing a salary from the local council. However, I am on a bout of sick leave at the moment for various reasons, which I can't go into for legal reasons. However, I will say that basically I, like Doctor Who, have regenerated myself.
Really?
Now, I am not in any way as handsome as Mr. Paul McEwan. I am not able to wear a bow tie in the same severity as Mr. Matthew Smith. And I will say that I certainly don't look as impressive naked as Mr. Tom Baker. Believe me. However, I will say that sometimes I am possibly in possession of two hearts. I find that sometimes my heartbeat is so fast that it does feel like I've got two hearts. I mean, particularly, this seems to happen for some reason after about the 12th cup of coffee. I don't know whether you know the Phil Collins song, two hearts beating in just one mind. You know that song?
Yes.
Brian's dancing, so he knows it very good. Yeah, I've heard of the song, yes.
The song worries me slightly because it does sound quite a hideous image, two hearts beating in one mind. It almost sounds, if you will, like a Doctor Who monster. But there we are. But we'll move on with that. But basically, I had a crisis, which is highlighted in the series, which we won't go into now, which did lead me to leave my house and go up into the hills just behind my house for a 2-day period. Fine. And I didn't stay the night out in the hills. I stayed in my own bed. The reason being that I did accidentally step on what I think now was a squirrel's drain. And I was nearly attacked by a squirrel. I don't know what the squirrels are like over in the United States of America over there, but I'm telling you now, the ones we find on the south coast of England, they will rip your throat quicker than you can say Russell T. Davis.
Wait,
and I don't.
What is a squirrel? Can you tell us a little bit about it for those?
Squirrel.
For those. Oh, squirrel. Oh, squirrel. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I need the universal translator.
Those monsters that we have here that steal corn and other assorted sundries.
Yes.
They steal corn.
Oh, they'll take anything.
They'll take anything. They literally grow on trees in Florida. Literally.
I have one remedy for this. Have you seen the film Live and Let Die, the James Bond film?
Yes.
Right. Well, do you recall that part where Mr. Bond is having a shave in a hotel and he's just in the mirror with a lit cigar, as you do when you're having a shave, and a snake is set into the bathroom and comes behind him and he sees it in the mirror. And just before the snake gets him, he turned around with his deodorant and his cigar, and he basically and he got punched in snake. Now, I never leave the house and go into nature without a can of deodorant, Lynx we have over here, and a cigar with a lighter. It's just in case. I'm just saying that. So anyway, the chills, basically, I read a book on mindfulness, and I realized that I can do this. I have got a gift. So my gift is now something I am passing on to other people to help. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
So this is why I do what I do.
Okay, good.
Christian, there's a question in the chat that I think from an Alistair Wetley.
We have a lot of people in the chat here, but let me go ahead and jump down over to Alistair. Ask him about Emily Sowbury. Oh, okay, Sowerbury. That sounds like a sore subject there. So
let's talk about Emily Sowbury then.
Okay.
Right, I wish this hadn't. This is quite early in the conversation to talk about that bloody woman, but we'll talk about we will. She's a neighbour. She lives across the road from me. She's 96 years of age. She shouldn't be outdoors because she's one of the vulnerable people that they've sent a letter to say, please don't leave your house. You are at danger. But she insists on walking out and going to Aldi, which is equivalent to your, like a grocery store you have in America.
Yes, right. We have Aldi.
And basically, we had an incident, quite a few incidents actually, which culminated in me doing something I shouldn't have done in front of the mayor and mayoress, and then accusing her of something that she apparently didn't do. Let me tell you who Emily Sowbury is like. She's like the master. She is like the master. She is my nemesis. Do you see?
Oh, okay. Now we get it.
However, she is like a bloody Dalek. She's so old she can't get up the stairs. So she can dominate conversations. She can best me in quizzes, but one thing she can't do is get upstairs, and I can. So I've won that. And she's like a Dalek. And I tell you one thing, if you watch the series now, you'll see that she told me that she killed a man in 1944 in occupied France. She was doing stuff undercover as an agent for the British forces during the Second World War. So she says.
Wait. How do you know all of this?
Watch the series. Watch the webinar, and it will become uncovered. Let me tell you now. She told me she killed a man who had a Panzer. Right now, how do we know that was a German soldier? How do we not know that a French civilian, a young man, stole the Panzer to do some joyriding, was doing a battle reenactment on that very day, dressed as a Nazi, and that she murdered a French civilian? So I have asked the British police to open an investigation into what I think is a murder of an innocent French joyrider. He did steal a Panzer, which is legal, but I don't think he should have been garroted for it. She did strangle him. And I think there's a murder case to be answered there. But I will not rest until that woman comes to justice, let me tell you now.
Well, maybe If she was in the SOE, then would that be considered murder if she actually had a?
If he was a French civilian, he wouldn't. She said she's a German, but I think it's a possibility. It could have been a French boy who's nicked the tank and wanted to go for a ride. Because let's face it, we've all been in battle reenactments. I'm sure you guys have all dressed up as soldiers at some point or other. I certainly do.
Absolutely. But during wartime,
But well, why not? Why not? Why not? Indeed, Sure, I would. I mean, I would have dressed up not during wartime, but my favorite costume, ironically, is a German one. It's the Afrika Korps. Do you know the desert German soldiers? I must admit, the forage caps are fantastic. I mean, they were Nazi, but the forage caps are good. And the shorts were rather short, which spoiled it. But I do think the Germans in the desert, I would have thought, would have prepared to be naked. They would have preferred nudity. The only problem with that would be, where would they put photographs of their wife and children?
Oh, interesting concept.
Gotcha.
I never thought of that.
Well, let me just jump into the chats a little bit. For those of you just joining us, Peter Peters here, Tim Treloar's friend. We're talking about Peter Peters' positivity program that you can check out on the YouTube channel yourself on YouTube, and it's free there. We want to welcome Trevor McIver, Gina Burris, Miss Dr. Freedom, Mrs. Freedom, Lady Gallifrey herself down there, Carl Witzman, and also Mark Muncie. He also says Namaste, Peter. Why that particular intro? Why do you use that?
I mean, don't you know that? That's Halloween yoga.
Yeah, I know that. I just why that particular word amongst anything that you wanted to do.
I'm not going to say goodbye when at the beginning of the conversation.
Gotcha there. All right.
I'm not going to go. Emanasta.
Okay. That
I'm sorry. I'm just still picturing Movie Tone News running a reel on naked Nazis overrunning North Africa.
Exactly. But as I say, where would they put pictures of their wives and children? That's what I want to know.
And Alistair continues on. Alistair Watley, thank you for joining us. Asked him if he's had any experience with bulls. Well, I'll ask him when he gets back over here. But have you had any experience, Peter, with bulls or no?
With bulls?
With bulls.
Well, balls or bulls?
Whichever you prefer.
I have had experiences with it's a new venture I'm actually going into, which is advertising on cats. It's not bulls. Okay. Basically, I think at the moment with advertising, it's quite hard, isn't it, for people to get into advertising studios to create commercials that basically cats, because they get everywhere and they get into people's gardens at night, that we should maybe do electronic adverts on the bodies of cats. And then when they go out at night, then you see them in the garden, you see what people are trying to advertise. So you could do Nike on the body of a cat in electric, like a vest that they could wear, like a T-shirt.
Right.
And light it up. So then they go into people's gardens and they can see the adverts for different companies. Does that make sense to you? Because I think it's a bloody good idea I've got there.
Have you tested this idea?
I haven't yet. I can't catch one. I mean, I'll tell you about a cat if you like, because I'm just about to mention about the cat that got into my bibliosanctum or library, as a lot of people call it. I don't call it a library, I call it a bibliosanctum, because my bibliosanctum, my library, where I do my my webinars, it is like the TARDIS in a lot of ways, because but it's the reverse. It looks huge from the outside. When you get in, there's not even room to swing a cat. I mean, because I've tried. I did try once, and there's a reason for it, because a window open doesn't mean an invitation to come into your house, to man or beast. So I am guilty once of swinging a cat, but luckily I'd lined the room with duvets because I wanted a soundproof room, because at that time I was weeping quite a lot. So when I was swinging the cat, it didn't get hurt at all. However, Emily Sowerbury did call me a barbarian, but I did call her a drashig, because she does look like one. So there we are.
Gotcha. Okay, well, Peter, we got a hard break, but when we return, we're going to talk about our discussion with Peter from Peter Peters' Positivity program. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and continue to become part of the legend.
Hi, I'm Claudia Christian with some exciting updates in the Sinclair Method world. First of all, we launched our new coaching page. It's yoursinclairmethod.com, so you can go there and book a session with one of our fabulous coaches. You can also reach that page by visiting c3foundation.org. It's at the top of the landing page of the website. The second piece of news is Journeys is out. Woohoo! This book has been a long time in the making, and it is available in Amazon, Barnes & Noble, your local bookstore, and there's a limited amount of signed copies at c3foundation.org. So get your copy of Journeys now and visit the coaching page for some wonderful support. If you're on the Sinclair method, you can book a session with a variety of different coaches. Take care and be well.
Alien invaders enslave Earth.
Unleashing hunters into the ruined wastes.
One young survivor struggles to elude their monsters, clinging to hope.
When he's stolen off the planet by a sarcastic starship AI, they pit their uneasy alliance against a treacherous galaxy.
Explore a whole new verse of barbarism and betrayal.
Wonder and adventure.
In the Scion series
by Michael J. Allen.
Beginning with Book 1, Scion Conquered Earth.
Available in print, ebook, and audio on Amazon.com.
Experience Samara's adventure as she imagines the people around her change into friendly cartoon animals right before her eyes. Journey with her in this poetic tale, My Cartoon Imagination at School.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Legend of Traveling TARDIS. My name is Christian Basil. We have special guests of a special guest, Tim Treloar's friend, Peter Peters' Positivity Program. You can check that out on the YouTube channel. It is free. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste there, folks. Welcome back there. And if you have any questions, please go ahead. Fulfill in the chat. You can ask anything for Peter. We want to say hello to Michael McDade and Meredith Lauren. Peter, please tear into Christian. We love seeing him grovel. That's not what. Thanks a lot.
I'm a positivity guru. Is not going to tear into somebody.
I know. He's about positivity.
It wouldn't be Christian to do it to Christian.
Yeah, there you go. Thank
you.
You
have it.
So much. Okay. And Mark Muncie says, maybe your heart is bigger on the inside. Well, there you go there. And Alistair, animal cruelty there. Okay. No, we'll skip that.
No, Alistair's, I know this person. This person does live not far from another friend of mine called Trevor Breasts, who was mentioned in the series. Alistair is another individual who is happy to take a lift to B&Q to buy some decking for his garden, but he's not happy to pay the petrol money. £3.31 he owes me from the last. Yeah. So that's the type of person you're dealing with there.
Gotcha. He's the person that you don't want you he's the one that wants you to help move, but he won't get you pizza.
There you go.
Gotcha. I know this character.
You know the type of we're talking about, right?
I know a lot of those characters. Oh, you give them.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I mean, subhuman scum, some of them. But there we are.
Terry McIver, has Peter been checked over by the doctor? Sounds like he needs a full physical.
Well, I've been checked over by quite a few doctors. Let me tell you that now. And some of them have been correct. Some of them are wrong.
Gotcha. Now, what's the term that you use?
Science fiction.
There's a term that you use when you introduce yourself. COVID, and I forgot what the term was.
Rapidly anti-COVID.
Rapidly anti-COVID. Okay, good. And everything checks out. You're doing okay, right? Especially in this world.
Well, I haven't got coronavirus to my particular knowledge. I do cough occasionally in the mornings, but I think that's due to ingesting a bit of dust and dandruff probably that's emitted from the atmosphere generally. I would assume.
Oh, good. Okay. Alistair continues. Ask him about health risks of licking batteries. I do remember that, and I got to admit I tested out a few of those. You got to make sure they're not the square ones, the little 9-volt batteries. You got to do it on the round ones because the 9 volts. I
don't see where. What, I'm looking at this going, what are the health risks? I'm like, well, are there any positive to licking batteries? What? Yeah. Why would I lick a battery?
There certainly are positives to licking batteries, believe me now, because at least you are feeling something. I mean, most of us feel nothing most of the time that we're on a plateau because our lives are barren and bereft of any meaning. And, oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh.
Sorry, I just had a moment there. I beg your pardon.
No,
but yeah, lick the batteries. Lick those batteries. Now, you're telling me that there's a health risk to licking the square ones?
Well, for Christian, apparently.
If you there's those two ports on the top. If you lick them together, so you don't want to lick those particular batteries. You want the round ones. You want
But you want an intense feeling?
A very intense feeling, yes.
Well, I quite like intense feelings now and again.
Well, this one I don't think you'd want. I had the experience. The round ones are the safer ones, and I think you tested round ones on your show there on your show. So I would not go for the square ones, just to be on the safe side.
Why instantly were you licking the square ones?
I just happened to have one. You mentioned batteries, and I just happened to pull one out that was square. That was my bad. I should follow by example.
Now, I recall being young, and that was something my father would do to double check to see if a battery still had a charge on it. But of course, it only works with the 9 volts, where you kind of touch it real quick to see if it's working. I don't know many people who would go through and just start licking batteries, the little D cells, just for pep. But I can see where, if as Peter has said, that our lives are kind of bereft, having that little spark of electricity, maybe it kind of ignites your imagination and gets you going.
You should get your positivity wherever you can. Wherever you can.
Okay. I wouldn't do the 9 volts, just to be on the safe side. But I'm warning you, if you do the 9 volts, you might have a little bit more positivity than you should have out there.
Speaking of getting it where we can, I know that you've been doing your webinars online and that they're for free. Can you tell me a little bit more? Why are you so just, the generosity is just overflowing to allow these people to have, your content for free? We're at a time where, the content generators are not there. So tell me more about that.
Thank you for that. That's very kind of you to say that, Melanie. And you're correct. I am very, very generous as a man. Now, yes, they are free. And my webinars, and as I say in the course, that's not where you go to learn to be Spider-Man, by the way. So, but anyway, back on. Obviously, the joke didn't register as well as I'd liked it. It's one of my better ones. But it is a free course because I'd like to give something back. For instance, the environment, the state of the environment at these times is absolutely awful. Someone rang the course and said I might be something called bipolar. Right now, I said, well, hang on a minute. I'm not Ursus maritimus, which is the Latin for polar bear. I can see the why people did get confused because of the the heavy artillery I'm still managing to maintain throughout isolation. And I will say that obviously polar bears' muscles probably have developed more because they have to swim now further between icebergs. But let's not blame Boris Johnson for that now. He's only been in office for a few months. Why we shouldn't blame Boris Johnson for global warming, right? Because, all right, there's been quite a lot of gaffes, right, during the last few months, quite a lot of mistakes, quite a lot of big errors. But he does run quite a tight outfit up there in Downing Street, and I do like a man with a tight outfit.
Okay.
So,
he bicycles. I know you from over here. His method of transportation of bicycling is known far and wide, so I can see why he's a very fit individual.
Well, no, he has a bicycle because he's too tight to pay petrol money to his driver.
Oh, that's
gotcha.
He won't pay that money. All it is a few pounds now and again. The man's got to eat, but he won't do it. So he hires a bike. It's disgusting, but there we are. It's not for me to do.
Now, Peter, to introduce people to your course, is there something like an example or something that you could bring up on our show to entice people to come over and watch your show on the YouTube? I just put just the information down, Peter Peters Positivity Program on YouTube. Subscribe, but introduce people to maybe who might be a little bit skeptical about how you do things. Tell them what is it that they should come and watch your show. What would they could do there?
Well, basically, a lot of people would say you can't reinvent the wheel.
Right.
Yes, you can.
Oh.
You can reinvent the wheel by not calling a circle a wheel anymore. So instead of calling a circle a wheel, you can make a square and call that a wheel. Why can't you have a square wheel? Why can't they now build Fiats and Rovers with square wheels. I mean, we sent man to the moon. Why can't we have square wheels? I mean, let's look at this in detail a little bit. I mean, you would obviously need a high propulsion rocket to be able to launch a car with square wheels. But think about it, the cars will be traveling slower on the motorways. There'll be less accidents for a start. And also, I don't want a wheel of cheese. Why can't I have a square of cheese? I don't want to go line dancing. I want to go oblong dancing. Why should we allow them to tell us what to say and what to think? It's about thinking laterally and alternatively and more the. You understand?
Yeah, I kind of get it.
Yeah. Well, basically, it's something that will change your whole mindset towards the world and the way we live from now on. And I can see Brian there is nearly in. I can see him saying that you can make a. You can call. Why can't we call a square a wheel?
True. I've never thought of it in that light, but now that you mentioned it.
Now that I've mentioned it,
this is great advice. This is why we should be watching Peter on his YouTube channel there, and again, it's down the screen. If you need to do a search, if you can't do the website, if you need to do the search, Peter's Positivity Program on YouTube. Well, Peter, we're going to be up against a hard break again, but when we return, you got Tim coming back, or you want to stay for the final segment?
It's entirely up to you. I sent him out, obviously, from the house, because I'm not staying in his house.
Right.
We're still in isolation here. I've said you have to leave your house.
And tell me, you guys are...
More than 2 meters.
More than 2 meters.
More than 2 meters is minimum. I think it should be like 200 yards, personally. That's my personal view. Everyone. Without fail. So he's outside. So I can get him if you like. It's entirely up to you.
I think I keep him within 2 meters. I don't think we should risk it.
Yeah.
No, because I have more questions for Peter after the commercial.
Right. You got it. Okay. Right. He can wait. It's a bit cold, but he's got. I think he had a jacket.
Fine. He'll be fine.
As long as he's social distancing out there, he's fine. It's all.
But I don't care what he's doing outside, as long as he's not in my sanctum.
Right. Does he have a mask on by any chance?
He better have done, because if he doesn't, I'll drop kick his arse straight into the sea.
Okay. When we return, we're going to go to the last segment of our show. We're going to finish our discussion with Peter, and of course, if you have any questions, please bring them up. We'll get to your questions right after the commercial break. When we return, please continue to stay logged on, tune in, and namaste.
Namaste.
Now on Amazon.com, iCoin from author Jeremy Mosby. It's an alternate reality, and the leader of the planet iCoin is none other than Benjamin Franklin. When corrupt officials threaten not only iCoin but the Earth as well, an unlikely chosen one, Jeremy, must face dark foes to save the Earth and iCoin alike. Author Jeremy Mosby takes readers on a superhero's adventure through this compelling and imaginative alternate universe. Get iCoin on Amazon.com today.
Best-selling and award-winning author of true crime and crime fiction, Yvonne Mason is back with a brand new book, The Pink Canary, a book that delves into the life of a drag queen and a marvelous whodunit. You can find this and all of Yvonne's other works on Amazon.com, or find Yvonne Mason on Facebook and Twitter.
He's gonna kill me.
Buy your copy of Pink Canary now.
Bateman.
What's the Bateman?
A novel set in Florida, written by Florida author D.L. Havlin. Suspense, mystery, and murder.
Evidence is in the bait.
The Bateman is available at local bookstores and online.
Namaste. I'm loving these glasses out here. And welcome, folks. We're hoping you're feeling a little bit more positive on this special episode of the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS Radio Show. We're here with Tim Treloar's friend, Peter. Again, check it out on his YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that when Peter puts out a new video, you have a big positive moment going on at that moment there. Peter, yeah, go ahead.
No, my friend. He's not my friend. Oh. I know him, but he's not my friend. I don't dislike him, but he's not my friend. He's an accomplice. So I just want to clear that up.
Oh, okay.
carry on. I'm
acquaintance.
Okay. Oh, he's an acquaintance. Oh, yeah, acquaintance.
He's an acquaintance. You're quite right there, Dr. Freedom. He's an acquaintance. So, yeah, sorry, but I do apologize for interrupting.
No, you're fine.
No, it makes sense. I mean, you keep your friends close, you keep your enemies closer. More than 2 meters.
Absolutely. Melanie, I think you're going to be a follower. You know, I really believe that you could be joining us, and I think you may be one of the A students.
Well, I mean, okay, now I'm almost on board. I'll be honest. I'm starting to go through the webinars. I'm starting to kind of go through the program a little bit, but I need to know because I'm over here. I'm over here in America. I like that personal interaction. Do you see post-COVID, whatever? Are you ever going to come over here stateside?
Well, it's funny to say that. I mean, I have been invited by quite a considerable amount of people over the last few weeks, and I am considering it. But the last time I went to America was I had a summer camp in Tampa, Florida, and I met a young lady there, one of your fine American ladies. Her name was, Mary Lou. Sorry, give me a moment.
Absolutely.
And anyway, I loved that girl. I mean, she was just wonderful. She was very athletic. But the problem was that one day she said to me, "Can I get you a beverage?" And I looked around expecting Benjamin Franklin or someone at least wearing a trike hat and a big long coat and some white stockings, because no one has said beverage in England since about 1720. So it was a bit of a shock. And ever since then, I learned that there was a language barrier that I couldn't get through. I mean, for instance, you say route, we say route. We say Bernard, you say Bernard. We say basil, you say basil. We say courgette, you say zucchini. We say aubergine, you say eggplant. We say potato, you say potato. That's a similarity. But you say what? We say pavement, you say sneakers, we say trainers. You say drugstore, we say chemist. And at the end of the day, I found the language barrier too hard, and it's too raw at the moment for me to come over. It was 35 years ago. It's still too raw.
Really?
I knew that girl for a week and a half, and
it's a long time. In Florida years, that's a long time.
And it's 35 years. I don't think is enough to get over that.
Wow.
Particular thing. So I hope to come back again. I've been to Disneyland once, but I was drinking at the time, so I don't remember that.
Yeah, you're probably in Epcot then. That's the drinking one.
Exactly. But I'd like to come back, but I would never want to go to Tampa unescorted.
Oh, okay. I meant if you don't mind hanging out with me, we'll definitely go out to Disney
I would
World.
love to hang it, but we have to do intensive yoga 3 times a day.
That's worth the price of admission.
Sunrise and sunset, or is it more rigid?
I think that the students should be doing it at sunset and 5 o'clock in the morning. I tend to do it at various hours because I have other activities that I need to obviously accomplish during certain hours.
Gotcha. Let me go ahead and back into the chats. We've got Meredith Lawburn who says there are positives and negatives of lithium batteries, but dumb. Yeah, she's ready to go there with the innuendos on.
I think she's seen episode 1 by the looks of it.
She probably has.
Probably has.
Carl Witzman, don't listen to the Melanie. Don't lick the batteries. Come on, Carl. Come on. You have to try it. You have to. You can't be a disbeliever.
I'm looking for one.
I don't know if a sonic screwdriver will work, but okay there. And Meredith says, lick Brian K. Morris's book spines instead because this is so much better for you. Well, that's a little hidden thing going on out there, but Brian.
I must admit, you can get some positivity out of smelling the pages of a freshly rendered book.
Yes.
I feel that, and maybe occasionally eating the edge of a book as you're reading a page, as I do as a younger man. The whole of the Narnia Chronicles by C.S. Lewis. I probably picked out the corners of nearly every page of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe as almost a dessert. For bed, for bedtime.
Gotcha.
But I mean, Carol would call that just like typical sort of like westernized decadence. But
Alistair says Peter is a Republican, and they're just like, why are we putting labels on people? That's not cool. That's not good.
That's disappointing, isn't it?
That is disappointing.
Do you mean Republican in terms of Donald Trumpism, or does he mean Republican as in anti-Queen Elizabethism?
He doesn't say. He just says a Republican. I'm Peter, a Republican.
I think that's a shame that people have to lower themselves to labels in this day and age. I think someone like that probably needs maybe a little sorting out or a visit from some associates of some people, but I would never sanction that.
There you go. Meredith says, I had such a positively different image in mind when he mentioned tight pants. Yeah, you have to forgive Meredith. I mean, everything is an innuendo there. Dear Tim Treloar is social distancing and positively abused by Peter. Oh, he's not abusing him. He's just outside.
He probably needs fresh air. The lad, he stays indoors too much, and probably fresh air. It's only what 10 to 12 midnight, and there's only a few drunk people around, and the odd town fox that can get him. But and there are squirrels. The squirrels tend to descend into the town at night. I mean, they do cause chaos. I mean, don't leave your cat out. That's for sure. Anyway,
no problem there.
But.
Yeah, go ahead, Peter. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I was talking about. I've got to mention Carol. She has sent a message to say, make sure you say hello to me. So I've just saying hello, Carol. Yeah, I know you're listening.
Absolutely. Tell us more about Carol. Who's
Carol?
Tell us a little about Carol.
Carol is a 50-year-old divorcee who lives over the road. I was holding a package that was being delivered by a delivery company. We won't go into that, but. We become friends of sorts, but she's a very, very complicated woman. Very, very complicated. Do you know the song by Carly Simon? You're so vain. I bet you think this song is about you. That one? Mm-hmm. Well, that was about apparently the actor Warren Beatty. Well, yes. Saying you're so vain, I bet you think this song is about you. But it is. It is. Also... I bet you think this song is about you, but it is because of the words. So what is she doing? How much punishment did he need to have? Because that surely must have blown his head off, must it? You're so vain. I bet you think the song is about you. You're saying it's not about you, but it is about you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
she kept that a secret for a long time too.
I know,
until like the 2000s ish. I mean, we had to flip to a millennia before she actually came out and said, "This is the song. This is who it's about."
But I thought she's saying that it's not about him. She says the song's not about him.
Mm-hmm.
You think that song is about you? You're so bad. Yeah. Oh, okay. I know. I get you.
Yeah.
I get you.
Carol's like that. Carol's like that. She's that. She's like. Yeah.
So she's a walking oxymoron.
Yes.
I wouldn't call her a moron. I mean, Oxy. Well, I mean, she does she likes a Mars bar, but hey, come on, let's not put labels.
And Lady Gallifrey is now following you on Twitter and YouTube. I'm glad she actually put those two words in because I would be worried if Lady Gallifrey were just following you just on the rough. So she's following you on Twitter and YouTube. And just a reminder, Tim and Peter both have their own Twitter accounts. You guys have separate Twitter accounts, right?
We're not a couple.
I know that. I know. I didn't mean. I didn't mean to imply that. I just meant that she didn't put the specifications, so I wanted to make sure she knew that. Tim,
he's on record now, Christian.
Yeah, I know. I got it.
I got a reputation to command. I got certain followers who need, like John Lennon. John Lennon didn't let it be known that he was married to Cynthia for years.
Right.
You need the fans to think that you're available. I mean, it's standard practice.
I can see that. I can see that there. I got no problem.
I mean, he's a handsome man.
That's true. Candace, I put Candace Roche. She says she couldn't find it on YouTube, so you just can pull up Peter's Positivity Program and type that in. That should definitely pull it up out there. Meredith Lauren, no worries about copyright strikes with Peter singing. Haha.
Whoa.
Okay. And Gina. Okay, Gina now follows you both on Twitter. So there you go.
Hello,
there's
Gina.
no discrepancies. It's you and Peter. We're getting close to the end of the show there, Peter. Let's just say this. What would be the message? Of course, watch your YouTube shows, watch the episodes, and get more positivity. But what would be the final message that you would like to relate to our audience to let them know? What would be your mantra?
keep 2 meters away from any other person. The second message would be eat Jaffa cakes sparingly. The third and final message would be one love. I can't think of any
to the heart. No, that goes
than one love.
That goes to the heart. I like it. I like it there. Brian, did you have any further questions? I knew you were chomping at a bit a little bit there. Did you have anything you wanted to say to Peter?
I just had inspiration.
Oh, really?
Octagons.
Oh,
that was
that's
nice
right.
Why can't football be played on an octagon field? Why is it going to be played on a rectangle? Can't play it on an octagon. Why not?
Imagine how many end zones.
Oh. There you go.
Make it more challenging.
It's limitless.
Wow. Yeah, it's limitless.
It's totally limitless. Yeah, I would go for it there. Well,
it's
Peter,
blowing my mind.
Peter, thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to bring back Tim Treloar. We're going to have a little bit of an after party if you want to talk more with Tim. Peter, thank you so much. Again, please check out his YouTube channel, Peter's Positivity Programming. Lick those batteries, folks. Reminder, lick those batteries. And speaking of licking the batteries to give us positivity, of course, we're always, as you can see, we're taking our sponsors on. We're taking more of people who want to advertise with us. You can advertise. Just send an email to Sage at Hanging With Show or myself at Hanging With Show, spelled HANGIN with Show. 35,000 subscribers. Thank you so much on our Facebook page. Can you believe that, Peter? We got a lot of people following us, and we're going to tell people to follow you as well. And hopefully all of them will get something positive
and then
from
at the end
your
of the day,
sermons.
we live positive lives instead of the negative rubbish that we've been told that we have to put up with. I mean, we need to learn about history. We need to learn about everything. And believe me, I am the man for the future, to help everyone. And I do it with a love, and I do it with a gentleness that you can obviously see is evident.
Yes. Totally convincing.
Yeah.
Folks, for those of you staying for the live feed, we got the after party coming up. Thank you again for joining us. Stay tuned. Please continue to stay logged on, tuned in, and always become part of the legend.
Namaste. Shall I go and get him then?
Go get him.
I'll go get him.
I've marked the time so you can have a good end show.
There you go. Hey, folks, if you're just willing to stand by, Tim's going to be coming back over here. Brian? Oh, Candace, great. You found it. Yeah, give Peter some love out there. And Meredith, thank you so much. Meredith, we can't thank you enough. I mean, I had a great time. I loved being on standby.
Can I come back in now? Bye.
Oh, yeah, come on in, Tim.
Bye. Yeah, okay. All right. Yes, okay. All right. I'll give you the money tomorrow. All right. Sorry about that. Hello.
No, it's fine.
All right.
I'm just glad he let him back in the house.
I figured Peter would have just blocked you out.
I thought he was going to go. No, I'm not going to let you.
I had a mask on. You're right. I had a mask on. It was cold out there, but yeah. I hope he was okay and he wasn't inappropriate or.
Gotcha. But much love to Peter and Tim Treloar. Thank you for a wonderful time. Well done, Traveling TARDIS. Thank you, Meredith. Yeah,
thank you.
Tim, we had a wonderful convention. It was a little ditty convention, but it made some big. Got a lot of people's attention. Brought a lot of people who are talented here locally in Central Florida, as well as all over the place. I think Brian, if I'm not mistaken, Brian Morris is over in Ohio.
Indiana?
I'm in Ohio. Wait a minute.
Let me go look.
Yeah. No worries. There's some people in Ohio. I know that I brought in my friend, the Rebel Kate, which we brought on the game show. We had Blankety Blank in Doctor Who style on Saturday. And it was just a great time.
All my notes everywhere. My words scattered around.
Yeah, Blankety Blank, brilliant.
Yes. See what happens when you crash for a few hours.
Did you see it? Did you see it?
What's that?
Blankety Blank. Did you ever see it?
I didn't. No, I saw. We have the American version, which is the match game.
Oh,
yeah.
We have the American version. They have the one that's the more popular is the Gene Rayburn version, which was a '70s style version when it was just open season with the innuendos. I mean, it was just crazy time back then. Then there's the Alec Baldwin version. What you had back then was Richard Dawson, who went over to do the Family Feud, and you would have all those celebrities, and they literally had it strategic. Like you had the one person who was not that bright, they would have him in the bottom left-hand corner. They would have the comic relief. It was just it was just there. I'm not throwing you out, Tim. I know it's late over where you're at there. So, but if you want to stick around, I'm just waiting to see if anybody else wants to had any further questions for you. We're definitely giving love to Katie. Giving love to Katie. I hope she gets well down there. Great show, I must leave, but I'll catch you later. Bye, Carl.
Indiana.
Brian is in Indiana. Okay, Brian's in Indiana.
So he's next door to me, basically. Yeah.
And I got to give you a little bit of a warning, just because this is on the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. We have kids who are watching. There is some adult language and possibly some brief nudity if you watch Peter Peters' Positivity program. So just be aware of that, kids. If you're watching this on your own,
it's not an all ages.
It's not an all ages.
That from the show.
It's not there's not a million there's not loads of swearing, but there's quite a bit, and
there's
not oversworn. It's not sort of every other word, but it's sort of prudently used. But there's one C bomb, I guess.
No, that's I just want to let you know, because the Traveling TARDIS is kind of more of a family show. We have preteen kids in there, and we want to make sure that before you go watching the show, before watching Peter's show, that just keep an eye out on things. Just be aware there. Meredith Allren says, thanks to Indie Vault, some of indie event shows were hitting 50,000 listeners globally, and the match game was so much fun. Christian, you should do that with Katie and Tim as contestants. Oh my God. we actually Richard Ashton, who played the Ice Warrior in the Empress of Mars, he was scheduled to be on, and he was going to be on it, and he unfortunately had some traffic issues, so he didn't get to get in the game. But God, I don't know if Katie's on there and you're on there at the same time.
He jumped on the Friday night show.
Yeah, he was on the Friday night show, but he didn't make it on the Saturday because he had traffic. But yeah, we recorded him on the Friday night show, and that was a cute. Yeah, that was a cute little thing too. We were just like, because I liked. When we were talking, and Richard was going like, "What are you doing?" I'm just saying, "Well, I'm doing this online convention. What are you doing?" Nothing right now. And it kind of turned into, he was basically like, "What are you doing? Come on,
come here, to chat and promote." What do you
so he came on. So okay, there we are. There. So
so this convention you did was online. It wasn't actually in a convention hall or anything, or.
Nope.
No. Online. All this is online.
More shows are coming on. We are privy to a bunch of people who are making their own. They're like, you know what? We don't have a con this weekend. Let's make our own. Okay, who wants to?
Great idea.
The convention this past weekend was supposed to be Tampa Bay Comic Con. So they canceled.
Yep.
So Meredith didn't want to. People, yeah, I know. So Meredith didn't want to leave people in a lurch. So she said, I'm going to create this online convention called Indie Event. And she literally put it together in 1 week. And she was just asking people left and right who wants to be on. And there's a lot of talented people that were on there. Just tons and tons. Carl Witzman, Rob Anderson, Brian K. Morris. Just a lot of people, a lot of indie people who got to, and we had some very lively discussions and debates there. But it was nice that people could come on and just come with us. Derek Hartley, hi guys, I hope you're all well. Yeah, we are. I hope you're out there as well too. Denise Rochelle. Oh no. Well, I better hold off for my hubby to watch. Candace, he might get to know Peter a little bit better. At least he'll know what religion he is.
You can. That was very well hidden. I feel. I said to the editor, I said, "You've got this footage with my trust now." I said, "You will not." I said, "I'll owe you," but yeah. So he's got it. He's got actual proper full nudity of me somewhere. So I might have to kill him at some point. I think he was.
Wait a minute. Did you just put that on there without your say and just?
Oh
do
no.
it?
I took it one about 5 o'clock in the morning down at the beach down there at my house, and obviously I'm turning around so you can see the lot. So when I sent it to the editor, he had that footage. He's got that.
Yeah.
So he's on trust, obviously, that stays with him until he dies.
Yeah, it's Christian. It's basically when you start rolling. So you roll camera, then you action. So he's got that part of rolling, action.
Yeah.
So he has to make sure the editor goes here so that
exactly
can maintain his dignity.
Well, no, the thing was, it's like when I saw those scenes, I was just like, where were you? How did you do this? How did you get away with it?
It was 5 in the morning. It was 5
in the morning. Yeah.
Because me and my girlfriend said we'd want to go and see the sunrise over the channel, the English channel.
Yeah.
And, so that was the excuse. I went, let's get some photos down, because they were talking about doing some nude, like this new age sort of, really inappropriate with the glasses on and, this middle-aged man doing this sort of thing. And so, we thought that's the way where there's no one around. So luckily we got away with it, I think. Otherwise it would have been difficult.
Maybe somebody was out there.
It would be another time. The cops would have certainly.
I want to thank Lady Gallifrey for bringing this up. There was another picture that I'm not criticizing the picture. There was another picture I thought just made her look adorable, but there's Katie right there. Oh, poor Katie. There's the butterfly picture. I still kind of like that one going on out there.
It's such a cool patch, isn't it?
I know, a little butterfly, but she was all like, she was just. If you see her Twitter feed, she was just loving it. It was great. Derek, this is a shower curtain. Because I wanted a backdrop, and essentially Chrissy got me the shower curtain as a present. We were actually going to put it up, and then she goes, why don't you take it to the cons with you? And that's when we started. I think what was it? It was which convention was that? Central Florida Comic Con.
Central Florida Comic Con.
It made its debut.
CFC.
Yeah, Central Florida.
CFC. That's CFCC.
CFCC. Yeah, Central Florida Comic Con.
I drove back and forth to because it was just in that range of I could drive there and go back home without having to spend money for a hotel.
Who organizes that then?
We had there were some.
Wasn't that Ben?
That was Ben.
That's Ben's show.
Ben Penrod. Well, Ben does Awesome Con, or used to do Awesome Con.
He used to do Awesome Con. Awesome Con was bought out by. Was it Reed Pop, I think?
One of them.
I think Reed Pop bought Awesome Con. Then he started doing Central Florida Comic Con, just as a nice, small, tiny little convention, not too far from the area. You could literally either fly in to Tampa or fly in from Orlando, really. Smaller, but he had it.
Surely you could wangle me and Katie to get an invite next year.
Probably because we could toss it over.
No, we want. Well, let's just say I was working on Katie with something else, and then all this happened.
Yeah, of course. I'm just being cheeky. I'm being cheeky. I'm only joking anyway.
No, seriously though, if you need, I will throw your name to anybody and anyone.
Anytime
I talk to those people.
Whenever I can. I always do. I've done the Chicago TARDIS. I've done Gallifrey. That's it for America. I've done Baltimore.
Yeah, it's unfortunately just in the past couple of years, all the Doctor Who conventions kind of died out.
Oh, really?
Concasterbarus.
Hang on. Yeah,
it's in October.
It's in October. It was moved to October. Yeah, Concasterbarus has been moved to October, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed. But yeah, I'll be more than happy to put in a word. I mean, anybody comes on the show, I usually just look out for it and say, Christian. They usually say afterwards, "Hey, Christian, do you know anybody?" And just like, if I can get you, I swear I'll get you here. So it really just depends on the convention heads. Now, most of them are kind of going for New Who than Classic Who, but Concasterbarus would be one that I would be very happy, I think, to pull you guys in. That would be nice.
Yeah. If Time Lord Fest was still going, that would have been a good one.
And that's the one that I was. Yeah, unfortunately, at the beginning of this year, we had a very important person in the Whoniverse in Florida pass away. And he ran a convention called Time Lord Fest. They had it in Jacksonville, Orlando, and Tampa. And unfortunately, he had a car accident. He succumbed to his injuries at the beginning of January. And yeah, for a while, he was the Doctor Who convention.
The Doctor Who convention in Florida. It was, especially Tampa. Then he moved it to He added one to Jacksonville, and it was starting to bring people.
Yeah, if you want to blame my kind of startup in podcasting and panels and conventions, it's all him. He actually started it in Orlando, and it was in a hookah bar, and he had like a pitch up tent and stuff like that. And he said
it was outdoors. I remember he got because so many people showed up. We're like, what the
right? He had to put up tents. The vendors. There was a hookah bar where the panel was taking place, which is really weird because you're watching there and everybody's going. Watching you perform, and the tents were outside with the vendors. However, he called me up and goes, I want you to do one of the panels. And I said, I'll be more than happy to. And I had never done a panel before or anything. And he just heard me talk and say stuff and goes, I think you're appropriate for one of the panels out there, meaning that he wanted me to do something for him during the show. And he goes, I got this one panel for you. And the weirdest part about the panel was called Vampires and Doctor Who.
Okay.
There haven't been any except for one episode. No. And this was after Vampires of Venice, which weren't vampires. They were blood-sucking monster fish. So I literally had to unearth all my State of Decay knowledge back up. And I go, I don't know if any time it's been, I was with quite a few people who knew what they were talking about. And I felt a little bit out of place. And after the panel, I kind of said, well, I don't know what the heck I'm talking about. And he goes, we all thought you knew what you were talking about. So, okay.
It's all about bluffing.
Exactly. It's gotten better and it's gotten more comfortable over time itself. But the starter one was, the first one I kind of just like, I took an hour and I kind of ate it up for all it's worth and kind of bluffed it. And I said, well, I really was bluffing. And he goes, yeah, so were we. I'm like, okay, then I'm not alone in this.
It's great when you learn that everyone else is bluffing. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Just go, how'd you get through? I don't know.
No, I don't feel so bad.
I just kept talking.
Exactly. That's essentially it. And then just panels got easier after that. It was just a lot easier to talk to people and people will bring up the topics for you. It started becoming things to be interactive. I said, I want to stop talking and listen to everybody else. So that's how I handle panels when I do stuff here, is to make the audience more interactive, because that's what they remember about the convention, what they were part of instead of just watching it. So that's how I just handle things. But yeah, I would love for you guys to come down here. We just got to find you a home, and it's kind of limited. That's
it, Christian. We're starting our convention.
Is it?
Don't even.
2021. I'll do it.
As much as I begrudge Ken Spivey about things, I would never trade in, because I saw him pulling his hair out. I mean,
they're absolutely cluster.
Yeah, I mean, he walked around the convention with a fine-tooth comb. I mean, if so much of a speck of dust was out of place, he was in there to pull it right out.
It's called event insurance.
Yeah, I know. He was just walking around. He was on the panel. He goes, "You guys okay? You guys okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're fine." And just, okay, that's all I needed to know. Walks away. So that was just the way he handled things. It was just really, really there. You have a pic of Katie and I patch sent privately, Brian and Christian. Oh yeah. All right. Oh wait.
That's old.
No. This is new. Hang on.
Oh.
And this is actually more for Brian. I don't know if he got it. Let me see if I can find it.
Don't look at me.
Did I download it? Yeah, here we go. It's coming up.
I don't know how many people are still watching right now.
It just dropped to 6.
Okay.
Hey Manning, just seeing you better on the road to recovery is enough to brighten my whole weekend. Big hugs and kisses. Katie responded back to Dr. Freedom. Oh, thank you, sweetie. Smiling hugs. Oh, there you go.
Ah, it's nice, isn't it?
That's you.
Yes,
Brian.
I saw that one video she did, and it was just so great to see her back on, after being gone for a while.
She's so wonderful, just so wonderful. She.
Well, how's she right now? Is she still recovering, or is she just?
Yeah. I mean, she left me she left me a message earlier. I said, sorry, because I think she was. Yeah, the fact that she did that cartoon, and then she's done a picture of her. Hang on. Hang on. It says it's a couple of swear words in there.
From you or from her?
It's usually both. It's usually her.
Oh.
But yeah, she says it's I think it's not really clear here, but I think she sounded a lot brighter when she sent a message the other day. So
okay, good.
I think she's on the right path.
I would pay an exuberant amount of money if she sent me an audio with her dropping the F-bomb somewhere along the way. I'm just like, I need that. And I will play that over and over and over and over.
It's not it's an S. It's an S.
It's an S?
An S. An S-bomb.
An S-bomb there.
An S-bomb, yeah. So, yeah.
For our fans we still got quite a few fans still hanging on there. So
Actually,
the number goes up and down, up and down, up and down. What's that?
People watching and whatnot. Tim, I have a question for you.
Yes.
How did you decide on Peter Peter's costume? Like, how did you decide I'm going to have the 70s vibe? Did you go thrift storing or second charity shopping to look for it, or did you have this?
Because I always saw this. I had this character in mind for something else. This sort of sitcom I was writing, and I had him as this guy. It's sort of more, I'd say, it's early 80s. Then
okay.
70s, I think. I always saw like something about the short sleeve white shirt is because you probably didn't see it. Yes, he's a short sleeve. It's always that sort of fisher's thing, men with a bunch of keys on their belt. And so, John Goodman in we were talking about in Big Lebowski.
Mm-hmm.
That type of character who's like a security guard or something officious where he's in charge of people somehow. Mm-hmm. Not a policeman, but it's something who's got authority. And I just had that. And then I found the jacket somewhere in Italy, actually. I bought it in Italy.
Really?
Because I like jackets. I can actually wear that for real with a pair of jeans because I like 3-button jackets. It's like part of the mod fashion thing. And then it just went, and I bought this cheap tie for about £2 in Tesco. It just was right. And obviously, because it's all built around the glasses. That's Christian's got on like that. It's all built around the glasses and having a beard and the side parting. So it's that sort of like a teacher sort of thing, that you probably remember when you were younger. That sort of quite strict.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just checking your link, and you got a few more subscribers. There you go.
There we go.
Got a few more subscribers. This is actually funny because when I saw Peter wearing his glasses, these are my dad's.
Wow.
These are originally my dad's. So when I saw them come, I was like, yeah, my dad had those. So I had to wear them for the show there.
Yeah. I mean, it's going quite well. I mean, because this is all a new venture, doing it. It never would have done this without coronavirus being lockdown.
Why not?
Do you know what I mean? These things that suddenly you find things that you never do. I mean, my girlfriend's written a play that's being done, filmed with Miriam Margolyes. I don't know if you know she is. She's quite big.
She's Australian, British actress.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
shorter, more heavy set, funny as hell, but raunchy as hell.
That's it. So she's doing that with that, and I've done something else. We've done the play called Birdsong. We've done that online, which has been seen as the best play in lockdown over here. So there's all this stuff because I think it doesn't matter if you don't do anything, haven't done anything during this time, but I guess some people you just want to do stuff and do new stuff. I haven't learned a language or anything, or learned to play the guitar or anything like that. I'd be too lazy to do that. But
if you're still on, folks, you're watching the after party. I just want to make please go ahead right now and just subscribe to Peter's YouTube channel. It is so awesome. When I first saw it, I go like, I think. What was my first comment? I think I said, "Is Peter stuck in the 80s?" Because I heard the music. I was like, "Oh my god, that is
the music is
so 80s."
Yeah, because we thought about the graphics going to be that sort of 80s sort of, I can't remember what the name of it is now. Damn, that 80s graphics where, you know, your eyes would come out your head, sort of on things. We were going to do it like that, you know, and the tongue being really long and wobbly and cartoony. Like, you know, that's the love is the drug in that 80s colors. We just thought 80s seemed right, you know, and sort of like backward. This bloke who's the last person to be giving advice to anyone, you know, and he's just having a breakdown. He's having a breakdown, and he's thinking, "This is my way out of it."
I didn't know how to explain it, and I said, I think after the third episode, I wrote you back and to go, "Is he going Karen? Is he going completely nuts?"
I was saying
to you,
that was my favorite shirt that you've worn.
Oh yes, that was my dad's. That's a Ben Sherman shirt, you know.
Okay.
I'll spare you. I don't know if you saw that. Here you go.
Nope. Hold on, because this is gonna get bad. Because I love those shirts.
That scares me. I think I used to have those. Like that.
These are my dad's shirts that I kept because I love them so much. That's why I was like, wait a minute. I got to know where he got these damn shirts.
Look at the colors on that.
Hilarious. That's polyester.
Yeah. But it was quite funny. I was telling Christine earlier that when I put it out there, sort of like before the series came out, I put a couple of promo sort of pictures out. And this guy who works for my mate runs a company, office equipment company. And one of his managers wrote to me on Facebook going, what did he say? Like, get a grip, mate. And I thought, he's trying to do it as the character, right? He knows I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And he went, I left it, and I left it. I thought, he's just trying to be like, you know, someone speaking to the character. And then my mate rang me and he said, Steve's been in to the office. You're not going to believe this. He said, is Tim all right? I'm really worried about him. I think he's had a breakdown.
Yes.
And seriously, because I've had depression myself, and I was going to ask him if he wanted to go to the pub for a few pints to have a chat about it. And my mate's looking at him going, Steve, it's Tim. Because he's changed his name. You know, he thought I changed my name to Peter. And I'd had a breakdown.
It translated that well. Oh, my God.
But he knew I was an actor. I don't get it. And I'm like, I said, but he knows I'm surely the first thought would be, it's a character. He's a character.
Yeah.
And he thought I changed my name and found some sort of religion. I mean, unbelievable.
Well, I'm going to add this comment. It was if one of our teammates wrote this, and I can't identify who, because if one of our team writes this, then it comes out as the Legend of the Traveling TARDIS. Peter looks like my maths teacher. It may be the same suit.
There we are. It's deliberately. Yeah, it's a teacher look, isn't it?
It is.
So one of our teammates, and I have a nicer picture of Katie right there. There you go.
There we go.
That's it.
But I see what you mean by it's that there's a modicum of authority or being official, but it can go to somebody's head. Okay, it's like settle down there. You're. It's not a lot of power, but my God, that power went.
Yeah, and it's all about. It's not about the positive. It's about him. It's about him trying to teach people. So he's teaching, because one of the catchphrases is "Look it up, millennials."
Yes.
Yes, I saw the picture where you have like the Chiron head, and it's
look it up, millennials. There's an advert actually we're going to bring out with the "Look out, millennials," because that happens quite a lot. It's going to come out. We'll probably do it towards the end of the week as another promo, and because you know what people have to go about millennials, they don't, you know, saying they don't know anything, they don't know this. So I do that with a character. So anything, I say, even Elvis. You know, everyone's heard of Elvis, but I say, look it up, millennials. Look him up. So it's sort of carrying that to the next sort of degree. So that's one of the So I don't know. I think some millennials quite like it actually, but I don't know. We've not really started really properly getting the advertising now. We're still waiting to get the big hits, but
I don't know if you know, Tim, but
what to do, isn't it? How to get the views?
Yeah.
Get the publicity, because unless you've got a name attached, you know.
No,
unless
yes.
you're
We'll definitely help it out there. I want to get you to 100 at least, if not more. I want to get you to 1 billion, but I want to if you get 1 billion, I'll get 1 billion.
That'd be great, wouldn't it?
I want to at least get you to the goal.
We've got quite a lot of view. I think there's about 800 people to see the first episode now, but we want it should be in the thousands really. We should be, but it's still early because they've only just been released. So
and we're going to get the subscribers.
It's a matter of getting it sort of the word.
Okay. A couple more people just subscribed. I just did a
well, there we are. Look at that. That's great.
But I don't even know if you noticed. I had to do this quick, and I forgot how to do it. But I had to change your moniker. If you noticed that, it's
because I noticed that at one point, but I couldn't remember if you could change that or if he had to go back. Okay, good.
You changed that, did you? When we went in the middle of it?
Yeah, because if you notice when the screen shrinks, it removes the monikers until it expands to this big, and then I can just go back in and
there we go.
So as soon as I was trying to figure out and then once the screen expanded or reduced, so I went in there and changed it out to Peter Peter. I was like, I forgot to change that. So that's StreamYard now.
I'm so really grateful though for you giving the opportunity for Peter to come onto the show. It's really, really, really grateful. It's such a nice thing to do because
and plus, I mean, you did. The great thing is that you did start off having a little bit more of a Doctor Who-y kind of feel to it, so that our audience, that if they are more Doctor Who radio,
that was Tim's idea.
And that was brilliant. And then being able just to kind of just flesh it out and really just show the Peter character.
I guess it's difficult because he's not instantly a likable character. That's the problem. It's only you sort of feel sorry for him. This is the thing. You kind of, the way it works is as you go through the story and you realize how desperate he is and how basically ill.
I was just thinking I could see Peter in his own sitcom, kind of like Toast to London type of deal.
There we are. Yeah,
I could see that happen.
Oh yeah,
that would be great. That'd be the idea. Yeah, that'd be lovely.
He would be like when they do the morning news, and then it's like, and now for more of your chakras to get in line, go to here comes Peter, and he's just like a 3-minute segment on a news channel.
Exactly, yeah. But it's just getting it. It's getting it out there, getting it seen, and getting the right people to see it. Really. So
everybody on here, spread the word. There's still quite a few people left, so spread the word out there. Get the.
I'm sorry. I realised quite a lot of it is very British. I mean, I know obviously you're very au fait with British humour and stuff, but I realised as I was saying some stuff, I was like, oh shit, that's that's pretty sort of niche. Do you know what I mean? Some of the terminology was a bit. I think.
It's really I tell people when they ask me from my what's your favorite sitcom, I said I'm a creature of PBS, and they go, what's your favorite sitcom? Red Dwarf. Everybody's telling me Friends or something here in the States, and then I go, and they go, what is your favorite? Red Dwarf. And they go like, what's that? I'm just like, probably one of the best sci-fi comedies out there.
I've never seen it.
Seriously? Oh, you don't know what you're missing.
It's one of those things I've never seen. But then I've only started watching Friends this year.
Okay.
Friends, because I was as a sort of, I don't know what I thought it was at the time, but it's on Netflix, and I went. Someone said that it's one of the best sitcoms ever because it's a joke every other line. So I've watched it. I'm addicted. Absolutely love it.
But the thing is, there's so much now. There's so much content. I mean, I really, one of the things I really wanted to geek out with was Supernatural. I have not seen one episode.
No.
That's a long running show, dude.
Yeah, that's the problem. And it's the same thing with Doctor Who. It's when people ask me, it's like, Christian, where do I start? And I'm like, I told them with the Christopher Eccleston reboot, because that would be the safe assumption. That's where everybody started when it came back.
Yeah.
But people are going like, should I go to black and white? And said, no.
Well, that's the thing is right now there's not a lot of new content coming out. So all of your new content's going to be on YouTube. It's going to be either on Facebook watching, that kind of thing. So you're going to have a lot of people going crazy on YouTube to get their newer content. But you're getting a lot of people going back and binge watching. Okay, well, this is the first time I'm going to go ahead and back and watch this one. I decided I wanted to watch 30 Rock again, and I just decided to go through and I binged watched 30 Rock all over again.
Okay.
And I'll probably do something else later.
Yeah,
I've always seen Friends here and there. I've never personally watched Friends all the way through.
I did Sopranos for about the 18th time. I did all that. That's no, you've never seen it.
No.
I've already seen the whole time all the way through, and then I have a tendency of wanting to watch certain ones here and there, like when it's Christopher and Paulie out in the middle of nowhere, and I love that episode so much.
The Pine Barrens, that's called, yeah.
Yes, the Pine Barrens in Jersey.
I'm still miffed about the ending. I'm one of those. That's just like.
If anyone's seen it, they need to stop listening right now because I'm about to second. Okay, the creator finally said what happened. He accidentally slipped it out. He finally said it.
Did he know?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want if everyone stopped listening and I can say it?
I don't care at this moment. They're here.
Tony's not. That was Tony being shot. The guy came out of the bathroom.
It was definitely
because it goes back to, and that's what I was thinking, because it goes back to earlier that season, or earlier on, someone had said I think just nothing happens when they were going back and forth saying when you get off, it just nothing happens.
Yeah,
but yeah. Chase finally had said he slipped. Yeah, that Tony.
Was it just Tony, or did they get the whole family? Because I thought they took out the whole family.
No, because they said in there, and again, anyone that's listening who's never seen The Sopranos, this is on you now. If I'm going to give you a spoiler, I already gave you a warning. They said earlier in the show that no one's going to kill if the entire family's there, they're not going to do a hit. That's why they kept filming it and showing that Meadow can't do a parallel park to save her damn life. Right. Because if Meadow parallel parked, got in and sat down, he would have been fine.
Right.
But the guy went to the bathroom, and that was his direct shot. They opened the door, and don't stop.
Yeah.
And he finally admitted it. It was just like a slip in an interview, and he was just like,
bad. It was like that. I even think James Gandolfini was defending it. It was like, nobody understands it. It's like, James, you don't understand. Everybody was calling HBO thinking that their HBO went out for a good minute. That was serious.
We left up. Me at the time was my husband he was my fiance. We were over his family's house. No, we might have been married. That's correct. We were over his parents' house, and everybody was watching it. And when that went off, we thought the cable went out. We were like, "What?"
Yeah, everybody called,
and then realized. Okay, let me see if I can't find it.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah. I don't know though if it was still the Tardos mob or if it was the other one. Anyway, that's looking more at detail, isn't it? But that's getting more details. Anyway. Listen, I really should go to bed.
Go to bed.
Go to bed.
And I've got to go to my mum's in the morning.
Let me put you back to where you were. So you can just
if you want to look at the private chat, I put the link to where Chase had admitted it. It was on June 11th where he finally let it slip.
All right, I'll look at that online then.
Yeah, look at the story.
Okay. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Please Peter.
Said that.
Huh?
He's quite recently said that.
Yes, it just happened.
Okay, I'm going to read it. I'll read that tomorrow then. Fantastic. Yeah. That's good to know.
But yeah, even if you want to just Google David Chase admits Tony dead, you'll find it. It's June 11th.
Wait, just 1 second. I just got to get this clarification. Didn't they say they were going to have a Sopranos movie though? Weren't they in the works for that?
They were talking about it, about the young Tony. They were talking about having young Tony, but I don't know what.
Yeah, young Tony, because Gandolfini's gone.
Oh, Tim.
Tim, go to bed.
All right, Tim, go to bed. I got to go eat. You guys go rest. Thank you so much, Tim. We're going to keep promoting, and everybody like it. Please subscribe.
Thank you so much again, everyone, for having him on, and thank you very much. And I hope he wasn't, he wasn't too badly behaved. But
no.
All right. Ta-da.
Get out of here.
Bye. Take care.
Stay.